All right, what up, people? It's your boy Chig from Green and Evil Eye coming to you again with a brand new video. This time it is a preview for Standard Liege versus Arsenal, the final group game of the Europa League tomorrow. Tomorrow at 5 to 6. So I'm going to be hard pushed coming back from work to reach that. Apologies if I sound a bit weird. I ain't going to lie. I am in full blown man flu mode. Yeah, last couple of days ain't been fun. Hence why I've not put out anything in the last 48 hours. So yeah, excuse me if I do sound a little bit more hoarse than normal. Also, apologies. I should have started this stream about 20 minutes ago. But I noticed that my camera was lagging, so I had to restart it. And then subsequently, I completely forgot that my starting lineup had been done, and I had to restart that. It's now wiped up my starting lineup. So rather than show you my starting lineup as I usually do, I'm just going to say it old school style and go from there. But yeah, let's go into this game. Obviously, tomorrow, kind of early evening, we play Standard Liège, our final group game. Currently 10 points, top of our league. But we are at risk, potentially, of going out. Yes, it will take a 5-0 loss. But let's be real here. Up until very recently, is that so ludicrous that something like that could happen? Not anymore. But I can't be all doom and gloom because Arsenal did something they've not done in 2 months. They won a game. That's right, Arsenal won a game. And suddenly, the doom and gloom has been lifted from the club. Big up to you, Alex Gomez, my guy. Always straight with a donation. Thank you, brother. Buy some day nurse. I'm just sticking with brandy, rum, and honey, and basically sweating it out. That's my tactic at the moment. So, but thank you, appreciate it. Yeah, so pretty much my kind of my sorry, I just saw Tayyip's comment, and Matt was really believing him. Like, really? The Tayyip's like, no, I'm joking. Yeah. So yeah, I get distracted. Football. So yeah. So obviously we're playing our final group league game tomorrow. It's a game that not a lot of people are very focused on for the simple reason that I think people assume that we're already through. So it doesn't really require a lot of focus from us. In my view, I'd just like to see us get the job done. I'd like us to keep a reasonably experienced-ish bench. Thank you, Liverpool. Liverpool, you never walk alone. I appreciate it. So yeah, I think from that perspective, it's just about us getting the job done, seeing our way through. I think over the last week or so, we've seen who's going to drop into the Europa League. Ajax, for example, will be in the Europa League. Ajax, they're the sort of team that will meet in the final and will run us over. So, I think from our perspective, I'd like to not face these teams very quickly. I think the most amount of time that we can put off facing these kind of teams until we get ourselves sorted, whether that's Ancelotti coming in, Allegri coming in, or whoever. I think the most amount of time we can buy before we face these teams, the better. Yes, I do appreciate the theory that, eventually you have to face all these teams anyway, but I think from our perspective, we need to avoid facing this Champions League team. I personally think it's some BS that, these teams that weren't good enough in one competition can drop into another competition. To me, things like that devalue Europa League because it just comes across like what it is, a BTEC European Cup. You place a little bit more value on it when you say to teams, no, if you weren't good enough for the Champions League, you're not good enough for Europa either. In the last couple of seasons, we've obviously, well, bar Chelsea, we've suffered to teams where they've dropped from the Champions League into the Europa League. Atletico Madrid being the team in particular I'm referring to, and it's caused us problems. So from our perspective, I just want us to get the job done. Win, I personally think if we draw, it should be enough. And the pressure, I think, is on Standard Liège. They're gonna have to be at us from the off if they stand any chance of beating us 5-0. From my perspective, I'd like us to rest as many people as possible. This is usually the time of year where we start picking up big injuries. We've obviously just heard that Tierney, very unfortunately, is now out for the rest of the season. I think we all kind of figured that the way he was holding his arm. So from our perspective, I want us to be able to, we're going to need to start looking to develop a new left back within the club. And I think you will see by my starting lineup my theory about who I would start as left back. Bearing in mind that Kolasinac has all of a sudden become our number one left back. Oh, God help us. Anyway, with that being all said, this is my starting lineup ahead of tomorrow. I know I'm doing this late, so there's not many people watching, but please do stick a like on this video and allow as many people as possible to catch up with this video tomorrow when they wake up. So just stick a like on this video. You guys will be doing your part. Thank you. All right, let's go with Martinez in goal first up. You know, for me, I think he has to have a big second half of the season to keep his place in the squad. Other than his distribution, there's not really a lot else to Martinez. I think sometimes there have been a couple of shots and goals that have gone in where I've looked at him and I thought, bro, you could have done better with that. Like, you could have done better with that. I think he's a very good distributor, but I don't think he's a particularly good shot stopper, which is a little bit of a worry because he's 6'5". So if you're 6'5" and you're not a good shot stopper, it's like, what's the point of you? But for me, I stick Martinez in goal for this game. Now I'm going to start making changes. Right back, I'm going to go with Mustafi. I think from my perspective, Hector's picked up a small, I say a small compared to Tierney, but a small injury. I thought Ainsley Maitland-Niles did well over the weekend. I actually thought he came on and did all right. I'd like to keep that as an option moving forward, and that's why he doesn't play as right back for me in this game. I think there's an argument he could play in this game. Would it be a disaster if he played this game? Because he's not played a lot of football this season, particularly after the initial period that he was playing as right back. He's been almost taken out of the limelight, which I've liked, actually, because I think he's needed that. But with Ainsley Maitland-Niles, for me, I noticed he doesn't play too good back-to-back games. So I say just manage that situation carefully. I'd actually play Mustafi then. I know Mustafi as a right back is a bit of a dangerous prospect, but I'm going to go with Mustafi there just because I've got plans for Chambers as a right back. And obviously, if that doesn't, as a centre back, and if that doesn't work, you can always swap Chambers and Mustafi anyway. So Mustafi is my right back ahead of tomorrow. Right centre back, I'm going with Callum Chambers, as I've obviously revealed now. I was always wondering where Rob Holding was. Rob Holding's injured. I didn't even realise that. I did suspect he might be injured, but now I've actually seen. Apparently, he's 2 weeks away from a return. So I would assume that he'll be fit, up and running then. But until he is, I didn't see Mavropanos had travelled. I think Mavropanos' Arsenal career is all but over. It's just a case of confirmation now. And yeah, I think I'm going to go with Callum Chambers in this particular, how can I put it, match. I'm going to play David Luiz next to him, not because I rate Luiz, just because he's a little bit of experience in a very inexperienced side. I do think we've always had a lot of defensive problems, and I think people take a lot of exception to what I've said recently, that you've taken Luiz out of the side and we're starting to defend better. But I think there is a lot of kind of correlation between Luiz coming in the side and how bad we've recently been defending. And I said it from the very get-go. I couldn't believe that we actually bought David Luiz. The thing is, for me, I don't think he's necessarily that error-prone, but he's just a coaster. That's all he is a coaster. will have a trick every now and again. Will blast a ball from far. Occasionally loses concentration, but he's not got like a calamity in him. He's just more of a coaster. He's just nothing defender to me. That's all. For me, I've never rated him. I never rated him in his prime. I certainly don't rate him now. That's just my personal opinion. But it is what it is. Big up to you, Tim. I hope you're well. Left back, I'm going with a controversial choice. Excuse me. Left back, I'm going with a controversial choice. By the way, only 16 likes, 40 people watching. You guys, fix that up, please. Please do drive the likes through the roof. As a left back, I am not going with Kolasinac. We need to save Kolasinac as much as possible. And to be fair, and I had this debate with someone in my group chat, Kolasinac over the last couple of games has played all right. I actually thought he played okay. What's his name? Against West Ham. Set up a goal and I actually thought was really good. Really good. I thought, flipping heck, where's this Kolasinac been for the last few years? So for me, just because of how delicate the Tierney situation is, I think we need to just be a little bit responsible with how we use Kolasinac. So from my perspective, I would go with Zach Medley. Yep, controversial. I'm going to go with Zach Medley. Now, I know what people are automatically going to say. Huh? You go with a centre-back as a left-back? Zach Medley also plays as a left-back for the under-23s, particularly when Boller isn't there. And yeah, he's travelled out there. I think he's travelled out there actually with the intention of playing left-back. I'm not overly, I must admit, I've confessed this before on my channel. I'll confess this again. I don't overly rate Zach Medley. I do think people have gassed him up because he's a big, tall lad. And obviously people like the thought of, wait a minute, he's big, he's tall, and he's one of our own. Oh, well, he must be good. I don't think he's all that. But what I would like to see him do is do well. And I think the ideal solution for everybody is if he actually was to kick on and be a half-decent left-back, especially a left-back with size, that would be different. And it would give us cause for looking at that situation and someone thinking, oh, maybe we don't need another left-back. Maybe we could get rid of Kolasinac and Zach Medley's there and he's ready and he's good to go. Either way, for me, I just wouldn't take the chance in playing Kolasinac in a nothing game when we've got more important games to come. We're more or less through in the Europa League. We just need to take that step over the line. And I think the way you do that is by putting Zach Medley in. That's the way I would do it. As on the number 4, so the two almost deep line midfielders, stroke DMs, I'm going to go first and foremost with Robbie Burton. I did think about Ainsley Maitland-Niles here. I did. But I actually like Robbie Burton. I think he's an excellent young player. And we've got some promising central midfielders. James Onyeka is another one. Another British Nigerian. We seem to rack British Nigerians in the Arsenal squad, but that's another good one. And he's also another one that's travelled out there. Disappointingly, Balogun hasn't travelled out there. I can't see Balogun staying at the club, I must admit. It's clear that they don't rate him for whatever reason. James Onyeka has actually gone out there, but I think out of all the youngsters playing there, it's more likely Burton might. I don't know if he'll start, but he'll probably get an appearance. If it was up to me, I'd start him. Next to him, I'm going to play Guendouzi. For me, it's just a case of managing Guendouzi sometimes. I think he's played a lot of games in his very short space of time at Arsenal. In my view, has done well. I think I'm one of the few that rate him. I get it. I do get it. I also get the frustration as well. But I do think he's a largely good player. And I think playing him in a game like this, ironically, someone with a lot of experience that can just help a Robbie Burton through the game, I think Guendouzi's your guy. So I'm going to play him. Just ahead of them, I'm going to go Ainsley Maitland-Niles. Let me try that again. Just ahead of them, I'm going to go with ML Smith-Rowe. Not played a lot of games at all this season. So I'd like to see what he does moving forward, particularly in a game like this. Relatively no pressure. I think the kid is so talented, but I will say this: he has had a lot of injuries for someone so young, and that is a little bit of a worry. I'd like to see a little bit of a settled period for him now, where he could just play a run of games and influence a run of games and start to develop into the player that we all think and hope he can be. So Emil Smith-Rowe is my number 10. On the right-hand side, I'm going with Reece Nelson. Yes, not playing him on the left, playing him on the right-hand side. That, to me, is his position. Can whip a nice ball when he wants to. I think his brief time under Arsene Wenger playing as a right wing back will probably help him a little bit defensively. So he'll probably help out Mustafi or Chambers, whoever plays there, as much as he can. But I'm really looking forward to him playing on the right-hand side. Plus, Pepe hasn't travelled. He's nursing. I mean, Pepe was put through the wars, and that's West Ham. So I think he's just nursing a small knock until the weekend. On the left-hand side, I'm going with Saka. I like what Freddie has done with Saka. I think no one's really mentioned that, so I'll give him the credit. He's just taken Saka out of the limelight a little bit. And I think this is the sort of game that you play him in, kind of a non-pressure game. Just allow Saka to express himself. I think Freddie managing Saka will be one of the more exciting parts of what Freddie does. This is because my expectation now is unless we actually hire Ancelotti in the next couple of weeks, we're probably going to go with Freddie until the end of the season. So if that's the case, and they're already talking that Rafa Benitez, it will take £20 million to break his. Now I'd do it, but these men were reluctant to do that for Rodgers. So I don't think I don't think they're going to do that for Rafa. So I'd love to personally see. I've digressed, but yeah, I think one of the more exciting parts of what I'm hoping Freddie will do is how he manages Saka, because Saka, as an under 23s, was very, very successful with Freddie as the manager. I see a lot of people, almost the way they have with Pepe, a lot of people have tapped out on Saka. I'm not one of them, but I do think that we need to look after that kid better than we have, because he's the sort of talent where, yes, he could cross a ball. Yes, he could dribble a ball. Yes, he has a lot of confidence. But he hasn't learned the kind of build-up play. He hasn't learned, not how to do assists, because I think that's just a dumb way of putting it, but he hasn't learned the little intricacies that you need to be an all-round footballer yet. I'm expecting that to happen. I'm expecting that to come along. But for me, I'm going to put Saka in the team. And to answer you, Matt, you can have your opinion about Guendouzi. I have mine. I'm not saying Guendouzi is the best player in the world, but I do think he is harshly criticised. I think I could see the good he does. That's just my view. You can have your opinion. It's all right. So yeah, that's Saka. That's Reece. Up top, I'm going with Lacazette. Rightly so as well. I'm glad that Freddie was brave enough to say to Lacazette, sit down. Straight up. You've been crap the last couple of games. I would say, in my view, if we're being real, all season, I think he's been dead. And I'd quite like to see how we manage that situation. But I think in a game like this, he would obviously be captain because he's the vice captain. So he'll obviously be captain. Then go out there and actually do something and prove himself a little bit. Because I like Lacazette, but I also think that perhaps he's been coasting a little bit. And I think in a game like this, where there's relatively no pressure, but we still need to get a result to get through, I think hopefully Lacazette will be able to do something in this game. So yeah, that's my 1 to 11. Lots and lots of young players mixed with a little bit of experience. What do I think in terms of a score prediction? Honestly, I think it'll be 1-1. And I actually think that'll be enough to draw it. I think it'll be 1-1. I don't see us winning for some stupid reason. But I also don't think we'll lose either. I think there's enough of a feel good factor there in order to get the result that we need. Standard Liege are a decent side at best, but if we can get our ducks in a row and perform, there is absolutely no way or no reason why we can't win this game. I honestly, truly believe that. So let's see what happens. Anyway, it is 10:43 in the chat, and there's 52 people watching. Please do stick a like on this video. I would appreciate if you guys do that. Let's bang out some questions. Let's take it to 10-2. I might just have enough of a voice to do 5 minutes. So let's go 5 minutes of questions, and I will answer as many as possible. Big up to anybody that has dropped a donation. I know Alex Gomez did, and I caught that one. But anyone else that did while I was chatting, thank you so much. Chig, who do you think is the best player in the league? Oh, I'll be honest with you, and I'm not just saying it because you're a Liverpool fan. It's probably out of De Bruyne, Mane. I'm trying to think now. Brain's gone. Yeah, probably out of those guys, really. If we're talking about all-rounders. Yes, Vardy's doing his thing. And fair play to Vardy, yo. Fair play. As I'll be real here. I could always hold my hands up if I'm wrong. That is one I got wrong. Imagine if we had Vardy from 2016. Look at what he's doing now. Man, it was killing it. Now, somebody said to me the other day, do you think Vardy is a Premiership legend? And I was like, Premier League legend? But then they made a really compelling case. Like, well, look at his last few seasons. He's a Premier League winner. Why wouldn't you consider him a Premier League legend? And it was so annoying because I could not. There was nothing I could say that could actually dispute that. It feels wrong because it's Vardy. It came from non-league, but it's difficult to say no to that. It really is difficult. G to PT, hope you're good. Mane all day. Salah's a good goal scorer, but I think all round play, Mane and De Bruyne are better. What do you think up? What do you think up the dock? What do I think up the dock? You got to explain that, mate. Somebody asked me, what do I think about the Eminem Nick Cannon beef? One thing I would say for Nick Cannon, he can't rap, but he is an absolute business genius. Because I tell you what, more people have spoken about him in the last 72 hours than they've spoken about him all year. So fair play to him. Fair play to him. I mean, and we're all. I mean, it's a clever because, in a way, Eminem kind of takes the L if he responds, and if he don't respond, he already takes the L. So it's just like it's literally a lose-lose situation. I think we should convert Saka to a left back. Mike, I like you a lot, bro, but there is nothing in Saka's game that lets me think he will be a better defender than attacker. There is nothing in his game. I'll just be honest, Jeremiah. For me, I didn't feel like I don't know what. I don't know. I didn't think he'd be good enough. And actually, if anything, over the years, he's gotten better and better and better. And you have to admit it, like G the PT says, a Premier League legend. It's hard to argue against, but he kind of is. I think we need to mentally prepare for this. Mentally prepare for this. Because that board seemed to be so I watched this interview. Um, and actually I thought it was a good debate. I don't really necessarily have anything against either guy, to be fair. I just see people saying that Robbie won. I was like, I didn't see that. I just see people saying that Simon Jordan won. To me, I don't necessarily agree with that either because I think he got himself worked up. It's just like, mate, it's just having a debate. You invited him on, so you should be easy. You're the one that's a professional. You got triggered quick when he said, "Oh, that you're a failed chairman." It's like, mate, this can't be the first time you've heard someone say that. It was an interesting debate. The thing that annoyed me was Jim White, whatever his name is, getting involved, coming across like he was supposed to be an impartial host. A man was coming like he was shouting over someone's shoulders and being like, "Yeah, FTV is a disgrace. Yeah, I've said it before. I'll say it again. The media are scared. They're scared of things like this." Because when things like this are getting more views or more listens than them, they have to do whatever they have to do to discredit it. There is no anybody who listens to that debate. Just take a second, right? Forget your personal feelings towards AFTV. What really is the difference between TalkSport and AFTV? They both host irate fans that come on, or in their case, call on, and start cussing up the club. What's the difference? Just the presentation that TalkSport are whiter than white. Not only do they have fans that do that, they have hosts that deliberately go out of their way to trigger a fan base. It's just like you guys are no better. That to me, I just shook my head at. But the debate itself, I thought was an interesting one. Should Vardy play for England again? I think he will. Liverpool, I think he will. I really do. I think he will. Flipping heck. Daniel, I can't highlight that just in case. Just in case some legal ramifications come off the back of that. But goodness gracious. But here's the thing though, Matt. I'm not particularly backing anyone. That's just my honest opinion. I was listening to that and I just thought to myself, well, why is Jim White getting involved? Like, you're meant to be the impartial person. Presumably, you're the one that invited Robbie on. So be impartial. I hate people that pretend like they're impartial and they're not. That's my honest opinion about it. Yeah, I must admit, I did think that was a weak argument because for me, here's the thing. It's a really old school mentality where people say, oh, well, you don't go to games, so you're not a real fan. It's like everybody has endless cash, an endless time, an endless convenience. And what if you live in another country? You're not able to go to games. Why should you be shat on because you're not able to go to games every single day? Now, all right, you could say, oh, well, to be fair, he was saying it to Simon specifically. I'm not being funny. And I actually thought this was one of Simon's better comments. Why would he want to go to Crystal Palace after owning them the way he did? And then I knew it was some nonsense way that they took the club. I didn't know the exact details. But in my mind, I thought, well, why would he want to go? I wouldn't want to go if I was him either. So I did think that was a weaker argument from him. I agree with that. And I think, like I say, all fan channels, I've said it before and I'll say it again. When YouTube channels are getting more views than these TV companies, it's a problem. It's a problem. TV is on a long coast to dying. It just is. And when you have a channel like Robbie's who For better or worse, I don't care what your opinion is of that channel. They get 20 million views a month. There ain't no way these football analyst shows are getting anything in the region of that. So you have to discredit it. I couldn't care less, Colin. I could not care less. If you want to invite me, invite me. If you don't want to invite me, don't invite me. I'm cool. Either way, I have no problem with them guys. I should get on with a lot of the Arsenal fan TV guys. People do hate change. You're right. Do you think the team have actually turned the corner, or is it another false dawn? Well, we're about to find out. I think most people expect us, particularly against City, to get ran over. But I think if we were to lose 1-0 or 2-0 and we put in a decent performance, I don't think anyone's going to get particularly irate. If we get absolutely slaughtered, that's when you could say it's a false dawn. So we'll find out. But I think that City game, more than tomorrow's game, that City game is really going to tell us something. I have I've unfortunately met the head of the fan base. Yes, I do like Troops. Me and Troops are boys. I've never actually spoken to Robbie, but I found out the other day that he follows me, which I was like, oh, okay. Because I don't really look at things. I don't really look at Twitter too tough. But when I found out he followed me the other day, I was like, okay, cool. So yeah, that was interesting. I'm all right, DJ Fury. I hope you're well. All right, let's give it 5 minutes. 5 minutes and I'm out. 5 minutes. Because I can feel my nose starting to block up again. Any more questions? Any more questions? Mustafi is suspended, Chig. Or Mustafa. Is that what I was supposed to say, Haroon? Mustafi is suspended. Well, if he is, then it has to be Chambers right back and Socrates in the middle. If Mustafi is suspended. Mr. Smith, I hope you're well. I hope you're good. I hope you're all right. Chig, I lived overseas for almost a decade and I followed our club intensely. Too many stodgy efforts. Yeah, but it didn't come. It didn't come out like that though. We shall begin. I recognize that, but it didn't come out like that. Sometimes it's about, especially when you have a global business, it's important not to alienate people through your words. But yes, I recognize that that's probably what he meant. I think we're going to beat City on Sunday. Whew. Where does that confidence come from, girl? All right. What score do you think it will be? 3 minutes and I'm out of here, guys. Please don't forget to hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, please. Drive the likes up. It helps people who this was too late for to notice the show tomorrow. I know it's election day. Who's winning the election tomorrow? Who's winning the election tomorrow? Who are you lot voting for? Does anyone give two flying Fs? Thanks, Jig. I got tomorrow off and the weekend. I'm hoping I'll be able to go in because I never take sick days. I never take sick days. I took one on Tuesday, thought I was better. Wednesday I went in, I thought, okay. Then Wednesday night I just completely disintegrated. I was like, what is going on? And I've been trying to nurse it ever since. So tomorrow it'll be very interesting. You said that, Marbles, not me. You said that, Marbles. Uh, you think Labour will win? Oh my gosh. If Labour wins, someone please comfort Steph. If you know, you know. McGregor or Cowboy? Ooh, I must admit, I'm edging towards McGregor purely on the weight factor. Purely on the weight. I thought that was an interesting choice. I think a very deliberate choice. Oh, you think 2-0 to Arsenal over City? Wow. Okay. Um, agreed. I like this comment. Agreed. Um, oh yeah, I had my flu jab, Joanne. I had it like 3 weeks ago. Then this happened. So that gives me a lesson ahead of next year. That's for damn sure. Um, do you think Liverpool will go unbeaten? Unfortunately, yes, I do. I really do. I mean, I really do. I'll just be real. I really do. And it pains it because I normally hate Liverpool fans being happy. But I'm just being honest. I think they will. Uh, yep. I love watching Leicester. I ain't gonna lie, I love watching Leicester. I think Leicester are doing their thing. I agree. Parody is just a parody of a hard Arsenal fan. That's all he is. That's all he is. I don't take him seriously. I'm not a violent individual at all, but yeah, I'll leave it there. I'll happily. Oh, it's just a parody of himself. That's all he is. Um, if Arsenal win, I'm going to splash out on a party. Wait, Arsenio, where's my invite? Now that's the real question. Where's my invite? We can beat City 2-1 Arsenal. Wow. People are weirdly confident about this City game. Goodness gracious. I like to be confident, Chig. Also, I think Leicester will beat Liverpool when they play them. Oh, Liverpool, you never walk alone. You hear that? You hear that? Whew. I think if Liverpool lose this season, it'll be to a dumb team like a Crystal Palace. They tend to struggle with them. Got hiccups now. I can hear. Ain't that the truth? Ain't that the truth? Uh, so I'm assuming you mean films instead of something a little bit more dodgy. Remember, we got a lady in the chat, Joanne. So I'm assuming you mean films. So if you're talking about which do I think will be a better film, Wonder Woman 2 or Black Widow, um, that'd be a good question. I'm expecting Wonder Woman 2 to be a good film, to be a better film, actually. Because the problem with Black Widow film is she's killed off. So it's kind of like I can only get so invested in that film. She's been killed off. So all I'm looking at are just flashbacks. It's kind of like, like unfortunately, that Black Widow film should come out years ago. Because now it's kind of like I'm gonna see it, but part of me is gonna be is kind of like going into it like, oh, you're still a youngin, Matt. Okay, you're still a youngin. I'm, I'm 35 in 3 weeks, so I could definitely call you a youngin. What shows am I watching at the moment? Nothing on Netflix. I'll be honest with you. My Netflix, I'm almost certainly going to cancel as soon as Disney Plus rolls out in the UK. Because I'm paying $8.99 for nothing. In fact, at the moment, I'm paying $8.99 just so my sister can use my Netflix. So I'm almost certainly going to cancel it. To be honest, I'm literally waiting for Power to just bring out the rest of its season, and then I'll probably cancel it because I don't watch anything on there. I like Netflix. I think it's a good system and that, but I don't use it enough. I'll put it into perspective. The last time I used Netflix was the 10th episode of Power, which was like 2 months ago. All right, I've done some real overtime for you guys. So I'm hoping you guys enjoy this. Please do. I'm older than most people, Tayyip. I'm older than most people. But please do stick a like on this video. I hope you guys are well and enjoying it. Apologies for how late this is. I know it's much later than I initially planned. But do stick a like on this video so other people can notice it. And yeah, until tomorrow, I'm going to be slightly late for my and Buster. I know so many people that do that. So many. They're trying to crack down on it though. I know so many people that do that. But yeah. Yeah, I'm going to be a little bit late to the watch along with Lee because the game starts like 5 to 6. So do forgive me for being a little late to that. But once I'm in, I'll power up, I'll fire up, and I'll be ready. And we'll go from there. All right. All right. I'm out of here, guys. Take care. Enjoy your evening. Big up to DJ Crane just before I went. At least you show me. Yeah, no problem, my bro. All right, guys. I'm out of here, guys. Take care. Thank you for the donation, brother. Peace.